Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Something very important has returned to Arizona, something far more important than a winning basketball team. It's called belief. It's back in the air, it's back on the air, and around water coolers all over the valley. So, do you feel it? Do you believe? For the first time since Luka Doncic undressed our franchise on Christmas night, the Suns are starting to look the part a little bit. They've unleashed a series of very compelling comebacks, scoring binges, and star power, and the numbers say they are starting to rate among the better teams in the association. But it's bigger than that because our eyes tell us they're starting to look like a team that maybe can win a playoff series, maybe even a few of them. Bottom line, we as sports fans, we love to be wowed. We love to be surprised. We love to see things we've never seen before, and the last 4 games have been a series of those experiences. But this is even bigger than that because sports fans in Arizona, sometimes we get a bad rap. We're called apathetic and divided and hopelessly chained to our hometown allegiances. But this much is clear. A fan base in Arizona will also make it very clear when a team captures their heart and their imagination. And it feels like over the past few games, the Suns have lit a fire. Big question is it sustainable or is it about to be extinguished by that dude in Dallas with a water hose? All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
You know what? I think they're going to be fine. You know, the thing about the Phoenix Suns, the word trust comes to mind, right? And they need to trust Frank Vogel. Mm-hmm. Frank Vogel, right? Frank Vogel is a hell of a coach. Like, Frank Vogel knows what the hell he's doing. We're talking about winning the championship with the Lakers, you know, managing so many egos on that team. When you think about Braun, AD, Rondo, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, right? Managing that many egos and being able to get it done. Okay, you think about Frank Vogel and when he was the head coach of the Pacers. You know, the only thing that was in his way was LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. And even then, he was on their heels like a pair of socks. You know, and I think the more that KD trusts Frank Vogel, the rest will follow. D. Book will follow. Bradley Beal will follow. Grayson Allen will follow.
That is Kendrick Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
Appearing on Wolf and Luke yesterday here on Arizona Sports. His thesis statement, Suns are going to be fine, but it all boils down to trust in Frank Vogel. And 2 weeks ago, if we were talking about the Suns' apparent trust, because none of us has inside knowledge of what's happening day to day with the Phoenix Suns behind closed doors. But if you were going to speculate on the team's buy-in on trusting Frank Vogel 2 weeks ago, I don't think it would have been very high. Well, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think the signs were there, and again, we all hear things in this business, and I do think that was accurate. I do think that the installation of his defensive system wasn't exactly being embraced, and it was causing some confusion, and I think there was, what are we doing offensively here? Do we have a plan? So I do think that has changed, and I do think that it certainly is paramount. You do have to have trust that your leader is going to put you in positions to win and play the right guys and make the right substitutions and get the right rotations together. And I have no doubt Frank Vogel, I said this at the time when he was hired, I think he's more than enough head coach to win a championship because he's won one before.
Yes.
But, you know, it's not unanimous. People don't look at Frank Vogel in the same way that they look at a Greg Popovich or, you know, maybe even a Steve Kerr at that level. I don't know. Either way, I think that once teams start winning and start performing well and beating good teams and the vibe starts to change, it's a lot easier to believe and buy into what's going on when the results are happening.
I feel that it's fair to say it like this. When you talk about it's irrefutable. Frank Vogel is a championship head coach in the NBA. He coached the LA Lakers to a title in the bubble year. So you can't take that away from him. But I think if you were, and you just brought up a couple of names, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, I think you could throw Eric Spoelstra into that mix too. When you ask people, all right, so-and-so, the Miami Heat won a title. Where is Eric Spoelstra on that list of responsibility for that title? He'd be pretty high on that list. I think you could say the same thing for Kerr. You could say the same thing for Popovich. I think most people, and this is just my perception, I think most people look at that Lakers championship in the bubble and they say, oh, AD and LeBron played at an all-world level and Frank Vogel was there. Was he responsible? No. And I think the Lakers kind of backed that up by their treatment of Frank Vogel after that championship. He didn't stick around long after that. And when things got rocky, he was shown the door.
And listen, and when people say that there were asterisks attached to that Lakers championship, they don't say it because it was in a hermetically sealed environment with fake fans. They say it because the Lakers basically had 2 months off in the middle of the season, which really helped an aging team, right? I mean, I don't know how long it was, but the pandemic shut things down for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, from March to August, basically,
it was like 4 months.
It was shut down.
4 months, okay.
But every other team had that same. I don't put an asterisk by it because everybody else had the same conditions.
Well, and I understand that because the bubble is also something that's in the lineage and the lore of the Phoenix Suns is a turning point for them.
Yes.
So it wasn't. I'm not saying it was all bad, but I'm just saying that if you were an aging team with aging stars, that lined up pretty good for you.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all.
There's no
That's all I'm saying.
that.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's invalid. I'm just saying it's different in ways that certainly benefited the Lakers. So, yeah, and again, but I think what I'm getting at in the blast here, it isn't so much the belief of the team. It's the belief of this market in this team. And I think this has clearly been an issue because I've been to a lot of games as a fan this year, much more so than I have in recent years. And it's been different in there. The crowd has been different. The vibe has been different. I think everybody's been waiting for this great party, and it hasn't always been there. And there have been a lot of bad halves, and the belief hasn't been there that what we're watching is a team that's going to make good on their promise. And you know how this fan base is. This fan base has been so traumatized and so abused over the years that I think naturally there's a self-defense mechanism that's going to kick in and that's going to put up a warning sign to basketball fans. This team ain't it. Don't buy in. They're going to break your heart again. And I think that it's a high burden of proof, but it's very understandable given what we've been through. And I think this basketball team has kind of crossed the Rubicon a little bit here with these last few games. I think people now are going, okay, I'm watching. This is okay. I can buy into. Yes, I can get behind this. Oh, this is Kevin Durant. This is the guy that's such a big deal that we traded the Twins for. I think all of it's happening.
Yeah,
and if Devin Booker starts playing the way Devin Booker does, then we're really going to have something.
I consider, and hearing you say that too about the fan experience historically with the Suns and this city and this fan base. These fans, and I'm part of it too, when the Suns historically have had success and competed for championships, those seasons were pretty special early on. You could tell early on.
Yes.
I mean, when the 92-93 team, Barkley gets here, it was a love affair from day one, and they won a ton of games. The seasons that followed, they were really good in the regular season. The 64-win team from a couple years ago, really good from day one. That hasn't proven to be fruitful for the Suns in winning championships. So maybe this rocky road and having to be patient and figuring things out and meshing together, whatever phrase you want to use, maybe that will be the elixir for this franchise, this city, this organization to finally experience the ultimate joy of winning a championship.
Yeah. They put together another good performance tonight and dismissed the Mavericks and beat them. I think it's going to continue to take this to another level.
I would agree.
So I really hope that these guys do play, and I think we're hearing that maybe they will be.
Yeah, that's what Sarah said. She got a note from our own John Gambadoro that says Luka and Kyrie both can play. Good.
Okay. Good.
Beat them at their best.
Yes.
That would go a long way to healing that Christmas Day feeling. That's for sure.
I agree with that.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.